Today, our pilgrims are still in the town of Vanity, and Faithful is on trial. And I want to give you 5 brief lessons from Faithful on trial. First of all, notice in the trial there's a lot of religious talk. In fact, the people of the town of Vanity think of themselves as Christians. You see, remember the context that Bunyan was living in, which is that England was a supposedly Christian country, but most of that Christianity was dead and just a religious veneer covering up a rotten heart. This isn't just of historical interest. Revelation 13 talks about 2 beasts, and they represent government that's opposed to Christ and religion that's opposed to Christ. And Revelation 13 shows that religion is often used to support the government that's opposed to Christ and to persecute Christians. In fact, dead religion, whether it calls itself Christian or by another name, mixed with the world's values, is a very dangerous thing and is often the fiercest persecutor of real Christianity, because real Christianity shows it up to be hollow and hypocritical. Next lesson. Notice how calm Faithful is, both before the trial and during the trial. He doesn't rant, he isn't unnecessarily rude, he is patient and calm, and this wins people over. And yet at the same time he is clear what he believes, and he's clear where the world is wrong, and he firmly and boldly says so. Great model to us. Clarity and boldness while being calm and not ranting. Third lesson, notice the judge's speech. Bunyan uses this speech to show that the world is no new thing. The judge refers back to precedents set right back into Bible times. And Bunyan is here pointing out, look, the world's opposition is nothing new. This is important for us today because some of us, I include myself here, have a tendency to moan about how bad things are now as if it would be better if we lived sometime in the past. No, be thankful for when God has put us and recognise the world has always been anti-Christ. Next lesson, this is a very specific one. One of the controversies in the trial is that Faithful has said that their acts of worship don't please God because they have added to their worship things you can't get from the Bible. Now, this was a specific issue at Bunyan's time of the Church of England said, well, we can worship God in all sorts of different ways. And the Puritans said, no, you've got to get it from the Bible. This was called the regulative principle. The Bible regulates how we worship, and we shouldn't include things we can't get from the Bible. I think that principle is being lost a bit in the modern evangelical church. I think we spend too much time thinking about what the humans think of our worship and not enough time thinking about, does the Bible say this is how we should worship? I think Bunyan's pointing out here a very current danger for us. And then last lesson, at the end of the chapter, Bunyan has this great sentence. He says, God had the power of their rage in his own hand. It's so well put. God had the power of their rage in his own hand. He doesn't say God caused them to sin. He doesn't say God was responsible for their sin. He's clear it's their rage, but God had the power of it in his own hand. In other words, he could use it the way he chose. And so he chose to use it so that Faithful's witness won people for Christ. He used it to engineer a way of escape for Christian, but above all, he used it to take Faithful to be with himself. And if you've got a feel for the story, all this driving concern to get to the celestial city, you think, wow, Faithful's got a shortcut. He's going to get there quicker. And you feel sorry for Christian, not for Faithful, because that's one of the beauties of this story. It gets our heart in line with we're aiming for the celestial city.